Now joined by race-winning driver and crew chief of today's 68th annual Goodies Fast Relief 500, Jimmie Johnson, driver of the number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet, and crew chief Chad Knaus. This is the 4th victory and 15th top 10 finish in 2016 for the team, and they will now advance to the championship four. So, gentlemen, congratulations, and just talk us through your race this afternoon.
Thank you. Just obviously an amazing way to finish the day, and get a win here to get our ninth clock to win at Martinsville in the fall from the Hendrick Motorsports side is a very meaningful victory for us. So a lot of emotions are all coming together, and obviously the bright spot and the shiny spot in all this is that we've got a shot at a championship. So we're fired up and ready to go. I'm very, very excited for the next couple of weeks, and certainly ready to go to Homestead and race for this thing.
Okay, Chad, if you could also share your comments as well, how you're feeling heading into Texas after today's win.
Yeah, extremely excited, obviously. We were really pumped up to come in here with the 4888 shop and everybody at Hendrick Motorsports. We had an opportunity after winning when we did in Charlotte to really focus on this race, to come in here with the best product we possibly could, and it was good. You know, we established ourselves as I think a contender early, running in the top 10, and then we had some problems, and Jimmie did an amazing job being able to go out there and navigate back up through the field and get back up towards the front, and then we caught a timely caution and made some good adjustments on the race car, and Jimmie did awesome early on in that last stint, and was able to get the lead and go out there and do what we did. So it was a great day, a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it.
Okay, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. We'll start here in the front with Kenny, and then go to Jeff, and then Bob.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. For Jimmie, first of all, what was the issue with whether it was fuel or not fuel, or what happened out there?
No, we're definitely sputtering and running out of gas, and I don't exactly know what happened, but somehow there's a switch for the ECU, and it was off. So when I saw the fuel pressure fluctuating, the engine sputtering, I don't know. I was reaching around and I hit the switch and shut the ECU off, which cut the power off of the car. So then I came to a stop, and in my mind somewhere there was a voice saying recycle the power of the car. So I shut the main power off, counted to 3, which I'm sure was only about 1 second instead of 3, turned it back on, and then, you know, in my mind I'm like, okay, all switches on, and I went through my checklist and I saw that the most important switch was off. So I flipped it on, fuel pressure came up, car fired, and off it went. So then it was, you know, hopefully pit 1 or 2 laps from then, and it went like 5 or 6, and was really scary, hoping that I could maintain solid fuel pressure. But I just kept coasting and shutting the engine off, and I was able to stretch it.
For Chad, is there anything any different that you guys will lean on your teammates for going forward than you would have under any other circumstances?
I don't think there's a whole lot that you can do other than, whoa, I just sorry about that. Let's start over. Thanks for asking that question, because I have actually not had an opportunity to ask him that, but there's not a whole lot that we can do, honestly, other than just be good teammates. And I think that with what we've got with the roster at Hendrick Motorsports, our drivers understand what it is that we need to do. Our crew chiefs understand it. Our teams really get it. It's been very encouraging over the course of this chase to watch our teams work together. And there's only so much that you can really do within the bounds of the rule, obviously. But Alan Gustafson and Greg and Keith Rodden, from my perspective, have done a fantastic job of working together with the 48 car and us with the 24 when they were trying to battle through for the advancement in Talladega. And the drivers on the track, I think you can just watch it and see what happens. Like, they're very courteous to one another, and that's what you have to have. Not every team is like that. But fortunately enough, with what Hendrick Motorsports does and the way Rick wants us to manage it, that's what we have at HMS, is a lot of respect for one another.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Jeff.
Jimmie, the other day you were in here and you said that there's no favorites, that anybody could win the title out of the 8. You seem like a favorite to me at this point. What's your mindset going to be going to Homestead with all the experience you have, and how are you going to, or are you going to play mind games with those who may dare to face you guys?
No, I'm just going to do my thing. I mean, if that does something other than sweet, but we've got one race and at a track we haven't won at yet that we assume we're going to have to go down there and win at. This chase, us last year being eliminated at Dover was hard to grasp. The 78 not being a part of the final 8 is hard to grasp this year. So that's where it's just hard to pick a favorite. I felt like today was going to be a good points day for us. We had chasers with trouble. We got a timely caution, restart 4th, get by those guys, and now we've punched our ticket and are in great shape. I don't know who the other 3 will be, so at this point it's really difficult to pick a favorite. And I still think it's going to be hard to pick one going down there. Really do.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Bob and then come over to Jenna, back to Jerry, and then back up front to Dustin.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. Jimmie, what would you consider would have been more unlikely that you have 3 top 5s in a 15 race stretch during the season and you turn around and now we're going to Homestead, or the fact that you could have your car stall and remain on the lead lap?
Still in the race.
And then can you also talk about just the turnaround and if you really thought it was possible during the summer to come here or to get to Homestead?
Yeah, the turnaround I'm way impressed with, especially from where we came from to where we've ended up. It's one thing to see progress, but to advance and go back to leading a lot of laps and contending for many wins is very, very impressive. And we couldn't have done it on our own. It took all 4 teams, and then it took all the departments at Hendrick. And honestly, it took Rick Hendrick showing his commitment for him to sit in the wind tunnel for a 24-hour shift with all the teams. His commitment, and he didn't have anything to do, or he couldn't help being in that wind tunnel, but his presence there and the message that sent to the organization. And there's other examples like that as well. I think he's led by example, and we've come a long way in a short period of time, which is really impressive. But no, I mean, for whatever reason, the stalling on the backstretch is out of my mind. But I, as you bring it up, it's unbelievable. We're here with the trophy, and we were parked on the backstretch with 100 to go. So, thankfully, we had some track position at the time, so the pace car didn't come to me and put me down a lap, because that would have been a huge problem for us. And then staying on track and not pitting. I don't know where the 47 got back to, but I don't think we would have won the race if we didn't start up there in those front 2 rows.
Okay, next question from Jenna.
Jennifer, AP. The first question's for either of you. You guys have won the last 4 fall races at Texas. What do you do now? You don't really have a reason to race the next 2 weeks, but at the same time, if you do win again, you make it harder for other people in the chase. Chad's ready.
Yeah, it's unique. It's unique, right? Obviously, because that is one of our favorite racetracks. So we're encouraged to go there. I really do want to go win that racetrack, because it's such a great Jimmie vintage 48 style racetrack. The tires fall off. There's a lot of moving around. There's pit strategy. There's track position. There's driver line commitments. There's a lot of things that play into that race, which is a ton of fun for us. But that being said, we need to now sit back, look at our car allocation, and make sure that we're taking the best product that we possibly can to Homestead. So when I get to the shop tomorrow, we're going to get together and we're going to look at what it is that we've got. We might make a quick decision and maybe make a change, but I don't think there's going to be a big change, because I think that we've got a bunch of good, really, really good race cars to take to Homestead. So we go to Texas and we try to do the best that we possibly can for Lowe's and all of our corporate partners and everybody on the 48 team, because if we can go and we can run in the top 5 at Texas and run in the top 5 in Phoenix, that just shows the strength of the team, and it brings us into that last race with a little bit of high stepping.
Ed, do you have something?
Well, just the big takeaway for us over these next 2 weeks could be momentum, and if we can run up front or win again, I mean, that's just huge momentum for the team. So that's the big thing we have on the line that could work for us going to Homestead.
And as you said, inevitably, the talk about 7 now. follows you guys, and I assume you don't want that to be an all-encompassing thing. So what do you do the next 3 weeks? Do you not do any media? Do you just like? And I both want you to talk about that. Like, how do you handle that? Because it's right here for you now, and it's still 3 weeks away.
It is 3 weeks away, but I feel like at least now, an hour into it, it's a lot different than if I was sitting here with the old format. We're going to have 4 drivers with the same points value starting that race, and it's going to be different. There's nothing to protect. We're all at a tie, and it's just go out there and lay down your best work. So I think that will be helpful from a stress management standpoint and thinking of what could possibly happen. I'd love to do it, and just honestly just thrilled to have a shot at it. I mean, that's all you can hope for, is just to have a shot at it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about it. I'm not really. I hear and I see a lot about 7, and I'm not. You've asked me a lot of these questions in the past, Jen, honestly, and I'm not worried about the 7th. I'm just worried about the next, and that's what I want to do. Is I want to go out there and put our best foot forward as a team, and go out there and try to do the best that we possibly can to win the next championship. I'm not worried about the 7th or the 8th.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Jerry and then come up to Dustin.
Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network, Kicking the Tires, and great minds think alike, because that was the question I was going to ask Jana. But Jimmie, you've had some gremlins that have hit you at Homestead in the past, and that's got to weigh on your mind. How do you deal with that going into that race, knowing that, okay, I've got a shot, as you said, you're resetting the points, but I've got to get past these things that have plagued me in the past?
Yeah, I mean, yes, there have been a few bad memories down there, but I've got 6 really good ones. So I'm going to go with those. I'll play that card.
Yeah, man, we've had some fun in Miami. The issues that we've had in Miami in the past have been, look, at the end of a stressful long season, situations arise, just things that outside of your control. There's been a lot of weird things that have happened there, so going into Homestead, we're actually very fortunate to be able to go in there with the mindset that we've got right now, that we're a competitive team. The 48 team is strong, and we just want to go out there and race our hearts out.
Go ahead, Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. A couple questions. One for Jimmie, one for Chad. Jimmie, Denny Hamlin was kind of expressed some frustration. I'm sure you got a sense of that during the race. He talked about after the race about New Hampshire and some of the contact there. Then he said, hey, look, I raced Jimmie hard at Charlotte, but he had expressed frustration with feeling like he'd come up on you today and felt like you'd raced him hard. If you can just kind of talk about that, and if things have been kind of building. And Chad, my question for you is, did you ever get an answer or figure out how a car that stopped under the caution restarted behind cars that stopped under green?
Why don't you go first?
Yeah, I'm puzzled that he had to move me like he did. The inside is a preferred lane. I gave him the inside. I got a little something working on the top, but I mean, there's a line of cars behind him. I can't just roll over. So, I prefer to race people cleanly, and I could have easily taken the easier route and just moved him when I came back to take over the lead, and I didn't. And I hope that showed him that, look, man, I don't have a beef. I don't know what he's got cooking in his head and what he thinks that happened at Loudon, what he thinks happened at Charlotte. Man, I'm out there to win. We got points on the line. We got a championship on the line, and I got accused of racing hard. I'll take that as a compliment.
I was surprised about that Denny comment, because I thought that you guys raced really cleanly. So I was shocked. I thought the end of the race went well.
He was talking more about the round lap 200, not the exact.
When I gave him the inside of the racetrack, the preferred line for 5 laps. It's like, go ahead. Here's the preferred line. I'd like to be there, but I'm not. Good, take it. And I get moved.
And so, yeah, that was weird. Nonetheless, so yeah, I don't know what happened yet. I'm looking forward to this week to have an opportunity to talk to Richard or Steve or Scott or the guys in NASCAR to understand what went on there. I mean, I know that it's a challenge, man. When you've got 40 cars going around a half-mile racetrack and people start to pit, and one guy's 12 seconds back, the other guy's 3 seconds back, but it's still very, very confusing to me right now. So I really don't want to talk a whole heck of a lot about it, because in my little world, I have one perspective, and they're up, in the DJ booth up there on top, so they can see what's going on. So they have a better perspective than I, so I'm sure I'll get some clarification. But right now, I'm happy as hell we won the race. How's that?
Okay, we'll take a follow-up question from Bob and then go to the back for a couple questions.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. But Jimmie, did you have much damage from? I mean, they had to come in and fix the car after the contact with Denny, and then you also had some contact with Amarola, I think. Did you feel that any of that contact was race threatening?
It didn't help. The contact with Denny, when my left front, when I hit him, as he was going by, it moved my steering, so something in the steering did bend. The deal with Eric, I guess we touched tires. I had no intentions of getting into him. We touched tires, and the tires kind of make the vehicle jump and climb up on one another. And that also happened with the 47 off of turn 2. I got inside of him, and I guess with the soft front fender I had from the damage, it made it easier for the right front to get into somebody's left rear. And that happened twice, where I was literally stuck on somebody and climbing up the side of them. So glad it didn't do more damage than that.
Okay, we'll go to the back for a question, please.
This one's for Jimmie and Chad. James Pike from Race Chaser Online and the Performance Motorsports Network. There have been days where you guys have come here and you guys have been dominant, but this was not one of those days. You guys had to beat fenders out. You had the whole fuel issue, and you guys still come back. You win. You clinch your spot to the Final Four. With everything that you guys went through today, does this make this win maybe a little bit more special than some of the other wins you guys have had here?
Gosh, they're all very, very special. To be here in the fall and pay respect to the people that we lost in the plane crash is one aspect when we show up here. To see Rick in victory lane and to have a few moments talking about little Ricky and his brother and the plane crash and the people that were on it. I mean, there's just a moment there that we always take for ourselves. I'm not sure if others do, but it definitely hits something inside of us that lived through that. And then to punch our ticket and know that we've, the chance at 7's alive is pretty damn awesome.
Any final questions for Jimmie or Chad? Okay, we'll come up here to Jenna.
Hey, Chad, the win ensures that JGR can't have all 4 cars in there. They at most can have 3. Does that make a difference to you at all, that they can't, as a team, that their numbers will be down, I guess?
I hadn't thought of it, honestly. No. I hate to say it like this, but I really don't care who we're racing, because anybody that is in this stage of the game has the potential to go out there and race really, really well, or manipulate the outcome of the race by pit strategy or anything, all the elements. If you've made it to the final 8, you're capable of winning the championship. So they're definitely all good competitors.
Okay, do we have any final questions for Chad? Okay, go ahead, Bob, and then we'll finish in the back with Mike.
Chad, we're going to all be talking about Jimmie going for 7 and him first time that he's been able to make it to the championship round in this format. Was getting to the championship round in this format, did you view that as a challenge? Did you view it as like if you guys never got to kind of the chance to win a 7th, that you'd have unfinished business?
Right. Kind of like what I said earlier, it's not about the 7th. It's not about, how many wins do you have? 79. Thank you.
There it is.
It's not I mean, I hate to be that broad about it, but it's not about the numbers. It's not about 7. It's not about tying Dale. It's not about tying Richard. It's not about beating Dale or beating Richard. It's not about beating Jeff for most wins or however many wins he's got. Like, I think you guys miss what we're about, and that's, we want to go win Texas. You follow me? We want to go win Homestead. We want to go win Phoenix. Like, and then guess what? In a few months, Daytona's rolling around. We want to go win that one too, and that's the way that we approach every single race. It's not about, you know, what we're ellipsing.
Okay, we'll take our final question from Mike.
Mike Neff from frontstretch.com. Chad, we've heard you before when you have questions about a NASCAR decision, sometimes get on the radio and say if NASCAR is listening or voice your displeasure over the radio. Is that something that you've experienced in the past with NASCAR, that they listen to you and that's how you get that across, or is that just your way of venting some frustration?
They don't listen to me, but they might be listening. Does that make sense? There's two different things, right? You know, like you can hear Jimmie, but do you really hear Jimmie? You know, I mean, it's like, you know, I guess white men can't jump quote, but it's yeah, man, I'm just putting it out there because really with the way the structure is inside the garage or the pit road area is now, to talk to a NASCAR official and then have him try to relay something to the tower, it's just really not even worth your time because there's too much noise, there's too much going on, trying to locate that official, and then making sure that your message actually is conveyed properly to the people up there. It doesn't work out. And he does the same thing, you know, he'll be like, NASCAR, you guys need to pay attention to this, you know, so they listen to a lot of people. And I mean, heck, you guys tweet it all out anyways as soon as we say it, so we know they follow tweets, so it's getting up there to them.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you for your time. Congratulations and good luck at Texas.